Our question comes from, first question comes from Ryan. Hey, FHB crew. First, thanks so much for all the work you put into the podcast. I look forward to Friday for many reasons. One of those is being able to hear the new episode when it drops. Previously, I was able to listen to a couple each day, but now I'm all caught up. We have a house in south central Wisconsin that was built around 1910. The exterior walls are all masonry with a plaster coating on the inside. We have a small amount of insulation in the attic floor and decided to apply closed-cell foam to the underside of the roof deck. I know, about 4 years ago to help with climate control and eliminate access for some bats that we were having trouble getting rid of. Here's the problem. The plaster in our son's bedroom on the second floor is peeling off of the chimney walls and a portion of the ceiling near the chimney. I have to re-plaster this area about every 5 years or so. It was even happening before we applied the spray foam to the roof decking. This chimney is currently being used to vent our natural gas fireplace in the living room directly below. During the winter, we run this fireplace about 2 to 3 hours each night. Our dogs love to lay near it. Nothing else vents into this chimney. When I start to remove the loose plaster, the wall and ceiling feel damp, almost like the roof is leaking. This time, there were even a couple of streaks on the wall where something had run all the way down to the floor, making a small puddle. To verify this, I went to the attic, only to find that the chimney, framing around it, and the insulation are all dry. The roof is about 15 years old and seems to still be in good condition. I do plan to add a cricket on the backside of the chimney when we replace the roof again. The attic runs about 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the house. We keep the house at about 63 during the winter. The only thing that I haven't checked is the venting for the natural gas fireplace. When it is running, there seems to be an adequate amount of heat coming out of the chimney. Is there a chance that the temperature difference of the chimney in the attic versus the bedroom is creating a point for condensation to form? I'm really stumped here. Any help or criticism is appreciated. Okay, so what is going on with the plaster in Ryan's bedroom that he has to, redo it every 5 years? Brian, you want to take a stab first?
Well, it's getting wet.
That's why people listen to this show, is the insightful answers we have to their building science questions. Excellent.
Do you guys get the sense for that he has ruled out a leak?
I think he's ruling it out because the chimney was dry up in the attic and the framing was also dry.
And that's all.
Looking at the pictures, it doesn't look like it's like an active leak, because normally you can kind of see it running down that face of the chimney on the brick. So I think I would think that that's what it seems like. It's probably not a water leak from the roof at the chimney.
Well, then I think his other suspicion is probably correct, right? That it's this warm air that's somehow leaking out of the chimney and getting contacting cold surfaces and the plaster is taking on water and crumbling.
How much time do we have, Andres? Okay. So I think that, Ryan has a great reason to be concerned, because combustion appliances need to vent correctly, or you can fill your house with carbon monoxide, right? So
yeah,
it hasn't been checked out. It is totally worth doing that for the safety of your family. And it is, as they describe, the silent killer. So, that is reason enough alone to take this seriously. I suspect a chimney crown. So for folks who are unfamiliar, that's the part of the chimney, the very top of it. It gets soaking wet. They are often in disrepair because of freeze thaw. And when you got a good rain, that the top of the chimney doesn't shed water like it's supposed to. And the chimney gets soaking wet, right? This is, we're talking about reservoir materials again. And, water wants to move from more to less. So it comes in contact with the bedroom ceiling and the wall there, which is drier than everything else surrounding and warmer. And I think there's a good chance that water movement through this chimney that is being taken on through rain and snow is pushing this plaster off. But I would sure want to be certain that the chimney was working correctly. What do you guys think? I think I stunned you with BS today. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think, you know, as you and I talked yesterday, Patrick, I think the chimney crown might definitely be a culprit. So that's something to check. And then as well, and as we were saying, you know, one thing to remember with any like either propane or natural gas fired appliances, like when they burn, they do typically release a lot of water vapor in their exhaust. So, you know, it could be as well something. And as like we talked, that might be the first spot where that gets cold enough to condense or catch some of that vapor and condense out of the exhaust. And somehow, you know, that could be giving you more moisture there. And if it's finding a way to leak outside or you know, kind of weep its way outside of the chimney, it could even be the fact that the brick is getting soaked. And that's given the fact that it's taking so long too, you know, because I would think if it was like, oh, your roof's leaking, I think it would show up more than every 4 or 5 years. I think it's a matter of like the brick's probably getting saturated, whether it's from rainwater from above or it's from, you know, condensation somehow from the exhaust, and it's just kind of wicking into the plaster, and that's about the timeline that it starts to show itself.
A gas fireplace has a pretty small burner, and as a result has a small flue. And most masonry chimneys are made for giant combustion appliances, right? And there's a good chance that this chimney is just way too big for this small gas burner. And similar things happen with gas water heaters, especially when they were used in conjunction with another, you know, fossil fueled appliance and that shared a chimney. And you cancel the, you know, gas furnace or oil fired furnace or boiler, and then suddenly the chimney is way too big for the water heater, and they have problems drafting because of that.
Yeah.
So you got to check this out.
I'm not even doubting like this based on 1910. I mean, this chimney might have been built for something wood too. It could have been built for a wood fireplace if it's an insert natural gas. So it's probably.
What did you just say, Brian? IT who? What? What's the standard you were talking about, Grant? IT 10?
No. I said it was built in 1910.
Ah, gotcha. I thought you had a fire safety regulation at your.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
I was just more so saying it could have been built originally for a wood fired fireplace as well. We don't really know the answer to that based on his question, but
I think you'd all agree it's worth checking out, right? You got to make sure this isn't a problem. And this is fixable if it is. Line the chimney with something, you know, stainless liner, and get on with your life.